Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning and question and answer Thursday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And Wendy, how are you? You're first up this morning. Good morning. Okay, here we go. Carrie, how are you? And from Nebraska, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, and Mike from Norland. You guys are so faithful. Yvonne, bonjour, how are you? Anna, Ham, Nick from our staff, Francis, good morning. Kim, Florida, Zian, bonjour. Catherine, and Micheline, Sturgeon Falls. Mary, good morning to y'all. Fran from Orangeville. Cheryl, how are you? Jane and Jeanette from our staff. Sandra and Catherine from Springdale, Newfoundland. Rita, good morning. Lynn, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Monique, how are you? Barbara, Nova Scotia. Jeanette, good morning. Maureen. And you guys are great. And Catherine, by the way, Parksville, British Columbia. Joss, Sturgeon, bonjour. Betty, Frida, Margaret, Morial, Kevin, Oshawa, Amelia, and Debbie, and Sturgeon Falls, and Juju. Bonjour, Quebec. Tammy, Ashley, from sunny Florida. Well, it's not quite sunny here. Bev, how are you? And I like your last name. Richmond Hill. Mary, Danica, Nellie, Marilyn. Happy Easter. Christ has risen. Yes, he has. Jeanette, Maria, Barbara, Barbaran, Yvette, good morning. Mary, Wasaga, not quite swimming yet. Elizabeth, Diane, Lori, and Donna, good morning. And Nellie, good morning. Rosemary and April. Okay, couple more. We got to get going. Norma, how are you? And John, good morning. Okay, let's get to the questions this morning. Okay, Mary, my vitamin D is very, very high. So why do I have osteoporosis? Well, that's a good question because everybody and their dog, Mary, thinks, well, I'm trying to change that thinking, but you look at medically, almost everybody in the medical field, they think of vitamin D as bones, right? And sure enough, it's good for your bones. And we've known that for a very, very long time. Vitamin D is essential for your bones. But a couple of things. One, it's not the only thing essential for your bones. So, and one thing, Mary, when you say your vitamin D is very, very high, how long has it been very, very high? Okay? But there's a lot of other factors, okay? So vitamin D, yep, important, okay? But I've talked to you many a times about K2, vitamin K2. And if you're low in vitamin K2, well, guess what? Calcium doesn't even get to your bones. So when you're eating calcium, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to eat your calcium. You get a lot of calcium in eggs, meat, and cheese. Because I just don't want you to take calcium as a supplement. Because it won't get to its intended destination. You don't want calcium in your blood. You want calcium in your bones. Now, there's a lot of things, Mary, that could go into osteoporosis. One of them being you might have had malabsorption syndrome in your gut. And that could have caused the fact that you were never taking up your minerals. I'll tell you one thing that'll leak your minerals out of your body almost more than anything else. You know what it is? When you got a bad diet and full of sugar. Sugar makes everything leaky, including your cells. And that's why a lot of people, they are missing magnesium, potassium, boron, all things that are good for your bones because they got such a bad diet. So look, it's a multitude of things, right? Now, if you have osteoporosis, Mary, then, and when you say your vitamin D is very, very high, well, how high is it? Okay, because, I aim high. I talked to someone yesterday, and they said, well, Doc, I got high B12. Good. Isn't that dangerous? Nah, nobody's ever croaked from having high B12. I can tell you that. And no one ever croaked, by the way, from having high vitamin D. Okay? Now, it depends on how high it is. Meaning that if it's real high, if there's two reasons that you could have high vitamin D and it won't go down. One, you got liver problems, and the other one, you got kidney problems. If you don't have a good functioning liver, how does your liver stop working properly? Well, it could be full of fat. The Costco parking lot might be full to the brim. And that's why the reset is so good, because you'll empty the Costco parking lot. If you do that, a lot of times with people with high levels of vitamin D have an underlying condition, and that is usually their liver, fatty liver, or the start of fatty liver, or their kidneys are not flushing out properly. So there's a multitude of things, Mary, a multitude of things. But thanks for the question, okay? And you got to tell me, number one, how high is it? And number two, how, have you compared it? So when you say I've got very high vitamin D, I've got osteoporosis didn't happen overnight. It takes years for osteoporosis. You start off with osteopenia, and then you go to osteoporosis. And that's a process. And women are more susceptible to it. Why? They got hormones. So, that's a whole other, a whole other ball of wax, okay? Because hormones are really important. In women, it's important for women to be balanced in their hormones, because that can have an effect on your bone quality, okay? And what did I bring you the other day about osteoclast and osteoblast? And, you need a balance there for bone quality. And what I like to, by the way, and Mary, you better be doing this, you need to do resistance, because what will make up for weaker bone is strong muscle. You need to have strong muscles. So exercise bands, weightlifting, get strong. Get your back and legs to be strong. Muscles. Okay, Mary, thanks for the question. Okay, Jose is asking, what about the stress hormone in animal? Does it not, is it not toxic to eat? No. Jose, I'm glad you're thinking. If an animal's got cortisol, and we eat animal, we eat eggs, meat, not so much eggs, and not so much the cheese, but the meat, would it be toxic? No, I'll tell you why, okay? Because an animal's stress is much different than us human beings, okay? Let me explain that, okay? So when an animal is scared, okay, they take off or they're going to come at you, right? Don't sneak up on a bear or you're going to be in deep trouble. Okay? That's why they tell you when you're walking in the bush, my sister says, there's so many bears in Sudbury and Timmins, they're buying condos. Okay? But you don't want to, make noise, because if they get scared, you might be their lunch. Okay? But cortisol, and even for us, is only supposed to be temporary. If I scare you, the fight or flight. Okay? You're going to punch me or you're going to run. And then it's supposed to stop. But us human beings, okay? Us human beings, and we're the only ones. Your cat don't get stressed. Okay? Neither does your dog. They're not, it's different. Okay? Cortisol is a big issue in human beings. It can affect your sleep. It can give you belly fat. It can drain your adrenal glands. It can make you exhausted. It can create or pour gasoline on the fire of inflammation in your body. And that is, be anxious for nothing, the Bible says. Okay? Be anxious for nothing, and everything in prayer and supplication and thanksgiving. Make your requests known unto God. We're supposed to pray about it, but what do? We worry. We worry. You go to bed and your brain, maybe you'll fall asleep and then you wake up and you can't turn your brain off. Well, that's cortisol. It goes along with your circadian rhythm. And what happens is it can really mess up your body, because cortisol, like I said, it's a diversion, and it really pours gasoline on the fire of inflammation. So if you got inflammation, it pours gasoline, the fire. Ugh. That's why cortisol is so important. But in animals, it gets turned off the way it's supposed to. Okay? It's getting turned off. So that's why don't worry about cortisol as far as eating animal meat. You don't have to worry about that. It doesn't get transferred into their tissue, because they're not always stressed like us. We live, I talked about this a lot, right? During this whole pandemic and the lockdowns, and the world is it's been so different. It's always stressful, but it's been worse. It's been worse. And I talked to you guys about this a lot, the unintended consequences. Public health, okay? God bless them, okay? Ooh. No, but really, all they can think of is the virus. But I've been screaming for 2 years. You guys know that. Not only about let's get our immune system, because there's always going to be a virus. There's going to be a first wave, a fifth wave, a 10th wave, a 12th wave of whether it's COVID or something else coming to a theater near you. There's always going to be viruses. Especially in the world we live in today. Everything is, China. People come from China every day, and we don't go to China as much as they come here. But people travel. You can, get to anywhere in the world in about 24 hours, right? So, look, we're going to transmit. We're always got virus and whatever, but one of the unintended consequences is people got so stressed. Fear. The fear factor. And, we're meant for each other, guys. You and I are meant for each other. I always tell people, I might bug you, but you need me. Okay? Well, I need you. And you need me. You know, that's what human beings, we're not meant to be alone, you know? So, and then there's fear and there's loneliness and there's depression and anxiety on steroids today because of the world we live in. I don't think I'm going to change the world. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to get you and I to be equipped to live in this world the way it is, so we can take care of ourselves. Start with yourself. You know my airplane story, right? You get on an airplane, and I never listen. You know, because I've been on an airplane so many times. You know, well, let's go through the safety features. You know, and the stewardess is doing this and that, and you know, points to the exit rows and when the mask. But one thing I listened to once, if in the event that we lose cabin pressure, okay, the oxygen mask will come down automatically. Well, okay. And you know what they say? Put yours on first. Put yours on first. Then, you know, you can help somebody else. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm trying to get you, my audience, to take care of yourself first and then help others. Okay? You guys get the memo. You understand that. Okay? So, good questions. Jose. Brenda, hibiscus tea. Will it lower blood pressure? I don't know. Why drink tea when you can have coffee? Brenda? Now, you know me. I like to tease a little bit, okay? But, well, look, you know, look, it may, okay? I know what it is, okay? Hibiscus tea. But for you teetotalers out there, tea is good, okay? Tea is good for you. And hibiscus tea, yeah, it's got, you know, it's got probably some things that are good for you. Coffee's better. Coffee's better. If you're going to drink coffee. Now, if you don't like it, look, I can't make you like coffee, but I feel sorry for you if you don't like it. Somebody said to me the other day, Doc, I don't like coffee. What? Okay? But, yeah, listen, you know, tea is good, guys. Hibiscus tea would, you know, it's got some benefits for sure. I got no problem with that. Like, when you want to lower blood pressure, start with your diet. Because I'll tell you, the number one cause of high blood pressure is sugar. It's insulin resistance. It's part of metabolic syndrome. It's food. It's not salt. Don't blame salt for what sugar did. So I always start with the diet. Big time. Okay? I start with the diet. I love Navitol for blood pressure because it elevates your nitric oxide. Okay? And another thing, and we talked about it yesterday, if you got metabolic syndrome of any kind, you got sticky blood vessels. Unstick them. Change your diet. Get that insulin down. Okay? Thanks for the question, Brenda. Okay, Linda. Besides exercise and hydration, what can I do for saggy arm skin? Well, look, if you lose a lot of weight or you got look, there's nothing better than exercise. There's no better. Look, I'm big on weights. You guys know that, or resistant bands or whatever. You know, if you lost a lot of weight, you might have saggy skin. Is there any miracles out there? I like collagen. I'm big on collagen protein. I would tell you, Linda, are Are you Linda the Linda? Linda, listen. Are you that Linda? No. All I'm saying is, Linda, is this. I like collagen. Collagen protein is the best protein of all. It's the most bioavailable of all proteins. I like whey, and I do. Like, for me, I like those things. But collagen's the best. That's why I love bone broth. So you could do that. A lot of people find their skin is better, maybe a little tighter. But how much of a miracle you're going to get from that, I don't know. I don't know. But there's no magic. Look, just do this, Put this on your skin, it'll fix it. Okay? If someone tells you that, run. They're lying to you, okay? But, it's a good question, okay? And yeah, you want good skin. I really try but I'll tell you one thing about skin too. Not so much saggy, a little bit saggy, but start inside out, Linda. Start inside out. Skin is an organ. It's your largest organ. It's the visible organ. But what goes on the inside, you're going to see on the outside. So take care of your inside, man. Take care of your insides. Okay, good questions. Thank you very much, Linda and John. Oregano and oregano oil apparently are rich in vitamin C. Why is oregano so good at killing bacteria and so good for your immune system? Well, it's a natural antibiotic. No, John, let me say this, okay? Like oregano oil, okay? Wild oregano oil. Make sure when you get oregano oil, it's wild, not made in China. Make sure it's good oregano oil. But the reason I love oregano oil, it's not because, and John, when you say it's got vitamin C, not really. It's got vitamin C-like components, okay? I told you the story the other day. Like, we talked about ascorbic acid. We talked about Linus Pauling. And he won a Nobel Prize in medicine. And he should have. He did. I liked it. But he brought vitamin C to the forefront. Not that nobody knew about vitamin C, but he really, and people started taking ascorbic acid as a supplement. If you would have talked to me in the 1970s, I wasn't that big on it. Not that I didn't like vitamin C, but I like vitamin C on its own, in my opinion. Okay? You don't take it alone. Unless here's what I liked about vitamin C in therapeutic doses. Cancer, but by IV. It's the only way to take the therapeutic doses that are needed. So I always said about Linus Pauling, he missed by one letter in the alphabet, John, because vitamin D is 1,000,000 times more important than vitamin C, unless you're talking about the real vitamin C, which is coffee. But you see what I'm saying? When you say oil of oregano contains vitamin C, well, it doesn't contain ascorbic acid, but it contains multitude of antioxidants. It's a combination of things. And that's why coffee's so good. It's got, do you know that coffee's got 1,000 phytonutrients? 1,000. It's complex and it's bioavailable. That's why your body loves it, guys. Okay? And so ascorbic acid on its own, not so much. Okay? So when you eat an orange and you get vitamin C, okay? But there's a lot of, you get a lot of other nutrients in there and they combine. And then somebody asked a question and I saw the question that right after that podcast, but I forgot to tell you that I do use some vitamin C, but not ascorbic acid on its own. I love the acerola cherry. Okay? I love cherries, by the way. I do. Cherries are good for you. Okay? I was trying to think, what's my favorite fruit? cherries. Followed by, what do I like? I love cherries. I love berries. Like, if you live in Northern Ontario, blueberries, wild. Northern Ontario, and I'm sure in Quebec and other, Le Gaspé, puis tout ça, là, you get real good, Rivière-du-Loup and those other places. You get real good wild blueberries. No. Bears love those things. You know that a bear, when they're getting ready to hibernate, they'll eat up to 30,000 blueberries a day. See, they're getting ready. Nature's smart, isn't it? You know what fructose does? It puts on fat. Okay? That's why I don't want you to eat too much fruit. They're God's candies. Don't eat too many. You can have some, though. I love bananas, by the way. I love bananas, but I don't eat a lot of bananas. Okay? I don't eat a lot of bananas. Because how many M&Ms are you eating when you eat a banana? About 49, I think. I'd have to check my notes, but it's somewhere around there. But guys, look at oil of oregano. Let's get back to that just for a minute. And I see that I should have mentioned this a while back too. There's a fella that I had, when I had my radio show, okay, for 20 years. I interviewed maybe 2 or 3 times a fella by the name of Dr. Cass Ingram. He was a guru on oil of oregano, okay? I remember they brought him when there was a water crisis. Was it Walkertown in southern Ontario? I mean, people died from contaminated water. And he went in there and did an experiment with oil of oregano and how you can put it in, in swamp water. And it is such a powerful antibiotic and antifungal and anti-everything. I love oil of oregano, guys. And you know what? It's God's natural antibiotic because it don't kill your good guys. It only kills your bad guys. How can an antibiotic be so smart? Because it's nature. Okay? Anyway, oil of oregano owes me money. I've always said that because per capita, the highest sales of oil of oregano in Canada were in Sudbury. And that's the truth. Because of my radio show, because I talked about it all the time. And people would call in and they said, I guess Dr. Martin's going to say, take oil of oregano. Yeah. I love oil of oregano. You can use it every day, by the way. Don't listen to the nonsense about, oh, you can't use that every day. You're going to kill your good bacteria. Nah, you won't. It's only good for you. And it's a powerful antioxidant, John. A powerful antioxidant, which is so good for your immune system. Okay? Sally Jesse. Is heme iron only in red meat? Yeah. Okay? Now, remember what I taught you now. Okay? Heme iron is a molecule in iron. Hemoglobin. Okay? Now, what is hemoglobin? Brings more oxygen. Why? Because hemoglobin is found in, it's a substance like Velcro, found in your red blood cells, right? And you can measure it. And heme iron is only found in vitamin S, steak, liver too, but I don't talk about liver. Red meat. Popeye didn't get strong from eating spinach. He lied. Spinach don't make you strong. Heme iron, found in red meat. Okay? Yeah, it's only found in red meat. And there is, so many say to eat spinach for iron when anemic. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Look, spinach you can eat. Okay? You can eat spinach. I don't know why you would, but you can. No, I'm teasing, okay, please. But all I'm saying is you can't compare the nutritional scale between a piece of steak and spinach. Believe you me, there's no comparison. And I know my vegetarian friends and my vegan friends, they try and make a case for it, but they're not on solid ground because you learn nutrition 101 and you realize, nah, it just, it's wishful thinking that you can't get the iron you need from spinach. Now you get some iron, but it's not heme iron. And you need heme iron. H-E-M-E. Heme, heme, I don't know. Okay, Wendy. B12, my B12's been high for 2 years now. Stop taking it as still high. Why is that? Well, that's good. You want it to be high. Why are you worried about that? And I was going to say, okay, but I didn't say it. I was going to say, Wendy, you're weird. I didn't say it. I was thinking it. No, but who cares if your B12 is high? I mean it. I aim high. I aim very high B12. The waiting rooms in the hospitals are full of people with high B12. No, they're not. They're not. I remember a physician, and she was one of my patients. She called me because one of her patients and my patients, and she was my patient, I mean, the doctor was, said, Doc, I got a patient here, and their B12 is through the roof. And I said, good. And she said, what? Well, that's good. You want your B12 to be through the roof. It's a water-soluble vitamin. You need to have high B12. And, look, if it's around 1,400, well, then you don't need to take it anymore. I'm aiming up there. B12 is an essential vitamin. Of all the B vitamins, B12 is the top of the food chain as far as B12, and found only in, where's B12 found, everyone? Where's it found? Red meat. Oh, my red meat, doctor, that causes cancer. Red meat's acidic, and red meat is no good for you, and it causes colon cancer, and it's fake news is what that is. Okay. Nicole. Nick, is it true that drinking coffee eliminates minerals in our body? Untrue, because I'd be dead by now. Okay. Now, can you drink too much coffee? Yeah. I like look, I always talk about the sweet spots, okay? So people ask me, Doc, like when you talk about water, why do you say 2 liters of water are 64 ounces for my American friends? Well, that's your sweet spot. Now, some people are different on either end, not much. It's just your sweet spot based on 46 years of practice. The sweet spot. And I actually measure it because of the viscosity of blood and all this and that. That was for water. Okay? So coffee, the sweet spot is 4 cups of coffee a day. Okay? That's your sweet spot for most people. You're not peeing out all your minerals when you're drinking coffee. That was brought to you by people that didn't like coffee. Ooh. Okay? But if you drink too much and you don't drink water, you see, there's only 2 things I really want you to drink. Well, 3, okay? I want you to drink coffee. I want you to drink water. Your body is 75% water. You need water. You're like planet Earth. We couldn't live on this planet if there wasn't water on it. Right? You can't live without water. You can live without food for longer than you can live without water. You need water. Okay? H2O. And only water is water. I know you make coffee with water, but that don't count for your water intake. Okay? So you need coffee. You need water. And I like Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. I'm going to talk about that again because I want you to get your kids liking that. It's so good for them. They want to drink something, when they're not weaned on water, kids want to, they like, give me a juice or give me a soda or give me this and those fruit smoothies. Oh, there's nothing that drives me crazier than when I see that stuff in the mall. And these kids drinking all these, they go to Starbucks. Like I was in the airport the other day and people are lined up at Starbucks. I said, well, okay, coffee, but they're not even ordering coffee. They order everything else with sugar in it. Well, I'll have this latte with chocolate and pink one latte. And I'm going, what are you doing that for? You know how much sugar's in that? Anyway. Sorry for going on tangents. Okay. Nicole, Gail, okay, we're almost there. We got a couple of more questions here. Okay, do you think people should ask for an NMR lipid test? I know what that test is, okay. And Gail, look, that is a very specific test to look at your lipoproteins, especially your LDL, okay? Now, let me say this first, because if you want to get that done, Gail, go for it. I mean it. I got no problem with it. But I got trouble with taking LDL as a problem. Right out of the gate. Okay? Right out of the gate. And I explained that yesterday. Okay? On our podcast yesterday. What did I talk about yesterday? Sticky blood vessels. It's not the lipoprotein. Well, yes and no. Look, HDL is really important. Why? Because it not only transports hormones, but it's really important. It's a really important measurement of insulin resistance. You know, when you send me your blood, I should be doing this. I don't do it, but I should do it. When I see upside down triglycerides and HDL, low triglycerides, high HDL is normal. You're in good shape. But when they're upside down, which I often see, I should say right away, you have insulin resistance. Okay? 100%. So what I'm saying to you, Gail, okay, is, look, you can do that test. And they look at LDL. And they look at, different forms of LDL. But listen to what I'm going to say. LDL is a carrier. HDL is a carrier. And LDL is a carrier. LDL is often found, it will elevate when you have an infection. What's that mean? Well, LDL must be important to bring cytokines and other things they transport to the area of injury. So very important for your immune system, LDL. But when you lower, they want to get it low. And I understand that the NMR test is to look at the different forms of LDL. Okay, I don't want to get into the weeds too much. But I've always said this, and I've been consistent 100%. You want to look at LDL, look at your numbers? Not so, because I'm more interested in your sticky blood vessels. Because if you don't have sticky blood vessels, you got nothing to worry about as far as your LDL is concerned. You got nothing to worry about. Blaming LDL for anything bad is like blaming the police because they're at the crime scene, or blaming the firemen because they're fighting the fire. Of course they're fighting the fire. They're not bad guys. Now, if you got sticky blood vessels, well, LDL can stick to the blood vessels, but lowering the LDL ain't going to do you no good. You got to unstick your blood vessels. You got to make them less sticky. That's why I'm so high on high DHA oil. You should be sliding out of rooms because you're taking oil. And do you know that eggs, meat, and cheese give you oil? So, yeah, you can get it done. Send it to me if you get it. But I'm not going to get Gail too uptight about it, okay? And that's me. And anyway, Kim, globus sensation. Okay, what's globus sensation? That's like you got something stuck in your throat. And here's a couple of things that I've noticed about that. And there's really nothing stuck in your throat, by the way. And your throat feels like you can't. You're not going to be able. To me, that is more of an underlying issue. Could be your thyroid's slightly swollen. You know, I'm a big guy on, when patients used to come in my office, I'm a touchy-feely guy. Okay. I overwhelm people sometimes, you know. I'm a touchy-feely guy. If you come and see me and you go, hey, doc, we haven't seen each other, I'm going to give you a big hug. And some people are, you know, especially in the days of COVID. I'm a hugger. Okay? No, but when you came into my office, I got real close because I wanted to observe. I'd look at your eyes. I'd look at your skin. I'd touch your thyroid because, oh, that's a little bit swollen. Could be thyroid. Could be GERDs. It could be a digestive issue. You see, your body's smart. I think it's a reflex. That's my opinion. It's a reflex. The body's saying, yeah, you know what? Your stomach doesn't have that much acidity in it to break down food, and I'm trying to get your attention. Now, it can be stress, too. I've seen that. Very high levels of cortisol over a period of time can do it, too. Okay, good question. I've seen it. Sometimes it's a reflex of like a food intolerance. Your body says, don't give me that. I can't break it down. Why are you eating it? And you feel like you got something stuck in your throat. You almost feel like the esophagus is shrinking. Okay? Good question. Thanks so much. Joanne, for existing buildup of arterial plaque will diminish with the AMC and low triglyceride. Yeah, your body's unreal. You get brand new cells. You get brand new everything. You get brand new tissue. You regenerate it. But if you don't fix the underlying problem, he's going to come back in the same way. So, look, to what extent can you regenerate when you get older like me? Okay. Okay, but your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay? So Yeah, you can, it's amazing. I've seen people, arterial plaque, especially where they could measure it in the carotid arteries, get a lot better. Now, you know, if you're 90% blocked, you might need help from a surgeon. Okay? But that is one of the reasons, Joanne, is there a risk of artery blockage if a plaque breaks up? No. Your body gets rid of it. Debris. Don't worry about it. Your body is unreal. It knows what to do. Okay. Janice, does barometric pressure cause sleep disturbances? Well, not for 99.9% of the population, but some people are hypersensitive to the change, like they're weather people. I used to laugh at that in the office. I get a headache. Well, no, they get a headache because they said a storm is coming, Doc. I said, well, you should have been a weatherman or woman. You know, when the barometric pressure changes, I can feel it. Well, you know, remember the word weird? I mean unique. Okay, you're not completely unique, but it can happen, okay? But not ordinarily. That's not the big cause of sleep. Does the blood thin out or go from cold or hot temperature? Nope. Well, no. Your blood is look, your blood, it's really important that your body keep it within, there's very little fluctuation in blood because everything in your body keeps its pH. Now, thick blood will happen if you're not drinking enough water. You got molasses for blood. Your body will still operate, but it's not good for it. Okay. What causes a detached retina? Well, sometimes injury. I'll tell you what I think causes detached retinas is a lack of blood supply. And detached retinas are, you know, serious. You got to get that looked at right away. But you know me, and I talk about the eyeball. The key to your eyeball is all those highways behind it. 407, 401, Highway 595, 95 in Florida, the turnpike. They're all in behind the eye. If you look in the eye, it's all blood vessels. It's really important to keep your blood vessels with lots of good little capillaries there. Okay? So the reset helps with that. I love Navital for that. I love high DHA for your eyes. Okay? Okay, good questions, Janice. Okay, I think I'm just about done. Carlos, I have 1 or 2 teaspoons of Himalayan salt daily. People tell me not to discontinue my trace minerals. Well, look, I like trace minerals, but Himalayan salt's got trace minerals. It's got 84 of them. So, but if you want to add, I like trace minerals. I got no problem with that, you know, but that's why I always talked about Himalayan salt, because it's got 84 minerals, or a good kosher sea salt. Okay? Got lots of minerals in there. They're trace minerals. That's what that salt is. That's why I like you to add it to your water. Carlos, good question. And sweets. Literally, that's the name that's written here. Can you talk about interstitial cystitis? Okay, but I'm not going to talk about it long, but I'll tell you what it is. It is a fungus. It's a candida. Oh, somebody asked about rosacea. You know what? How did I miss that? Because I saw it. Hold on, and I didn't even talk about it. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. Rosacea. Who is asking me that? I must have... oh, Colleen. Sorry, Colleen, I missed it. Okay, but I can do both. Rosacea is fungus. It's candida on the skin. So where do you go? To your gut. Leaky gut. Leaky gut, leaky skin, rosacea. It's sort of autoimmune. Okay? So take care of the gut. Really important. And you might find things that make it worse, rosacea. Now, interstitial cystitis, pain in that bladder, unexplained. It really, and not in my opinion, it's not. It is a low-grade fungal infection. Yeast got into the bladder. and your body is reacting to it. It's a fungal. It's low grade. You don't get a temperature. You don't get anything like that, but it becomes chronic. It can be very painful, and it's usually with people that have used antibiotics, the number one reason for it. So, probiotics. Okay, guys, tomorrow we're off. It's Good Friday, okay? Now, I want to wish you guys a happy Easter. The Lord is risen. He's risen indeed, okay? And we'll be on Monday, okay? So Monday, Easter Monday, many will have holidays, but not me. Well, this is a holiday for me. See, I love doing this. It's a hobby, okay? So we love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.